Welcome to the Northside Neighbor Podcast. Today is Wednesday, March 29th, and today is Vietnam Veterans Day.
If you love your country, think of it.
I'm Matt Golden, and here are your top stories presented by Engineered Solutions of Georgia. Armour Yards will host an immersive Disney exhibit. Springmont welcomes its new head of school. And a Westminster basketball standout has earned national honors. Plus, as we prepare for the Masters, Times Journal Incorporated sports editor John Bednarowski got a special opportunity to play the course. Join us as he continues to take us on a tour of Augusta National presented by Ingles. These stories and more are coming up in today's edition of the Northside Neighbor Podcast.
Engineered Solutions of Georgia. We guarantee a stable, dry foundation. With over 30 years of experience and a lifetime of support, residential and commercial. Hey, we do it all. Basement waterproofing and repairs to your foundation. Dial 678 ESOG now.
Disney fans in Atlanta are in for a treat as the immersive Disney exhibit is set to open on May 2nd at Armour Yards. The exhibit, developed in collaboration with Walt Disney Animation Studios, allows visitors to experience the magic of Disney's animated films and characters in a 44,000 square foot warehouse space. Featuring projection exhibitions from a canon of classic and modern Disney films, audiences will feel like they have entered the incredible worlds of beloved Disney characters. Tickets start at $29.99 and go on sale March 30th at lighthouseimmersive.com/Disney. Springmont School has announced the appointment of Elizabeth Lener as its next head of school. Lener was selected following a year-long search process that involved the participation of various stakeholders. She has more than 25 years of experience in independent pre-K through 8th grade schools and has served as assistant head and lower school head at Burgundy Farm Country Day since 2015. Lener is a lifelong learner committed to fostering a supportive and inclusive learning environment. She will begin her new role July 1st, 2023, succeeding interim head of school Megan Heckerum. In a letter to the community, Lener expressed her gratitude for the opportunity to serve the school on this historic journey. Westminster senior Courtney Ogden, a Stanford signee, has received several prestigious honors in recognition of her outstanding performance in high school basketball. She was named the Gatorade Georgia Girls Player of the Year, the Atlanta Tip-Off Club's Miss Georgia Basketball, and the Max Prep Georgia Player of the Year. Ogden also earned a spot in the McDonald's All-American Girls Game held in Houston, Texas, yesterday. Throughout her career, Ogden scored 1,936 points, became the school's all-time leading scorer, and received Region Player of the Year honors in 2020, 2021, and 2022. The Atlanta Symphony Ochestra is set to begin its 79th season and second with music director Nathalie Stutzman. The 2023-2024 season will feature works by Dvorak, Bruckner, Strauss, Brahms, Verdi, Tchaikovsky, along with lesser-known gems. Stutzman's performances around the world this year have generated tremendous praise, especially with this repertoire. The season will also feature collaborations with guest musicians such as French harpist Xavier de Maistre, soprano Renee Fleming, pianist Maria Joa Perez, and Daniel Trifonov. The ASO is experiencing a rebound in concert attendance and has record number of new ticket buyers. Subscriptions are on sale now at aso.org/2324.
It pays to know your doctor, it pays to know your lawyer, and more than ever, to know your local real estate professional. Hi, I'm Glenn Drake with Drake Realty with 7 offices in Metro Atlanta. I'm the proud leader of over 700 agents here in Georgia. Drake Realty makes the home buying process seamless from contract to close. Our agents are a little different. They're not pushing for the quick sale and close. They're pushing for the best price and terms for their clients. In other words, Drake Realty fights for you. And right now, with the lowest interest rates that we've seen in 30 years, now's the time to buy that dream home, vacation home, upgrade, downsize, or a new home your family deserves. A lot of real estate agents talk big. Let my team at Drake Realty prove they will fight for you. I'm Glenn Drake, and I'd be honored to have my team serve you. Visit us online at drakerealty.com, and remember, it's not how quick you sell or buy, it's how the deal sets up your future.
You deserve better than your bank. Better service, better rates, better solutions. If you live or work in Cobb County, now is the perfect time to make the switch to Credit Union of Georgia, the better way to bank. Since 1960, Credit Union of Georgia has been providing Northwest Georgia with financial solutions that make sense for your home, business, and family. As a homegrown, not-for-profit cooperative, our members are our mission. Not only will you get the best loan rates, you'll get personalized customer service from people who understand your needs. Plus, Credit Union of Georgia provides real convenience with a network of more than 30,000 accessible ATMs and branch locations across the country. Of course, there's also 5 locations right here in Cobb County. Ready to see how much better your banking can be with Credit Union of Georgia? Become a member today or apply for a loan online by visiting cuofga.org. Credit Union of Georgia, the better way to bank.
And now, Lia McGrath from Ingles Markets joins us to answer our questions about gluten.
Hi, this is Lia McGrath. I'm the corporate dietitian for Ingles Markets, and I'm here to answer your food and nutrition questions. You can write to me through the Ingles Markets website at ingles-markets.com, and then click on the Wellness tab, and you can find exactly where you can send me a question. So here's a question I got recently.
So it seems I've been having some stomach issues, and I've been talking to some friends about this, and they said I shouldn't be eating gluten. I don't even know what gluten is. Can you shed some light on this?
Well, gluten is a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. So it's naturally in those foods, and it gives structure when you do baked products. Gluten is a type of protein, so it kind of gives structure. I have also heard that people say, oh, it seems like there's so many more people with various intolerances and allergies. Well, there's a couple reasons for that. The first reason is that we're better at diagnosing things like that. We're better at testing and figuring out what somebody's illness or what their problem is now than that we were 100 years ago or even 50 or 60 years ago. Sadly, many of those people who had those life-threatening food allergies, like something to peanuts, probably perished, probably died because they weren't aware that they had those allergies before the EpiPen or before diagnosis. Then there's other theories of why people have more allergies. Is it something environmental? Is it like we're too clean, unlike our ancestors who were maybe outside and working on farms? Maybe we live in too much of a hygienic environment now, and our immune system just goes into overdrive when it's exposed to some items. So gluten in some individuals can trigger a lot of problems, but it's actually a very small percentage of the population that cannot consume gluten. And those are people with celiac disease. That's the number one reason why somebody would not be able to consume gluten in a healthy way. So celiac disease is actually an autoimmune disorder. It's not a food allergy per se. And it's an inherited autoimmune disorder. It's not something that you pick up or develop. It doesn't come out of the blue. It's carried on your genes. So if someone has celiac disease, someone else in their family had it as well. Maybe they weren't diagnosed, but they had it because it is a genetic trait. So for somebody with an inability to consume gluten with celiac disease, well, they consume it and then basically their body attacks itself. That can cause them a lot of GI problems. It can cause other problems and that result in nutritional deficiencies, causing things like early onset osteoporosis, problems with their teeth, migraines, fertility issues, a ton of stuff. So because gluten is found in wheat, barley, and rye, there are a lot of foods that don't have gluten. Things like fruits and vegetables and beans and nuts and seeds and meat and milk and eggs and seafood don't naturally have gluten unless when you're preparing them, they come in contact with something like wheat flour or some other gluten-containing ingredient. So for people with celiac disease, they want to start off by focusing on foods that don't naturally have gluten. But I would back up to say, don't diagnose yourself. Make sure that you're diagnosed by a physician, because embarking on a gluten-free diet is very expensive and oftentimes it's not nutritionally complete. So somebody who truly has celiac disease has nutritional deficiencies, vitamin, mineral deficiencies, and they probably need for the rest of their lives some sort of vitamin and mineral supplement to compensate for what they're not getting in their diet. So don't self-diagnose. If you think you may have celiac disease, if you notice that you have stomach issues when you eat certain foods, make sure you go to a doctor first before you diagnose yourself, before you start eliminating foods from your diet. Thanks for listening to Ask the Dietitian with Lia McGrath, the Ingles dietitian. And if you have nutrition questions or food questions that you want answered, be sure and go to the Ingles website at ingles-markets.com and click on the Wellness tab. And you can send me your question and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
The Marcus Jewish community has launched a $36 million capital campaign to fund new facilities and programs. The funds will help create new ways for the community to connect, with $20.5 million invested at the Zabin Park campus and $9.7 million allocated to Camp Barney Medence. The MJCCA's vision of Zabin Park and CBM includes a new outdoor aquatic center, a new pickleball facility, enhanced security, renovated areas of the main building, reimagined courtyard, updated preschool playground, and expanded parking. The campaign has already secured $31.5 million from major donor gifts. Molly Pitra, a St. Pius ex-Catholic high school junior, won the 2023 Poetry Out Loud state champion, while Amaya Ariel McGee from DeKalb School of Arts was the runner-up. Pitra will represent Georgia at the national finals, which will be held in May in Washington, D.C. The Poetry Out Loud program encourages high school students to learn about poetry through memorization and recitation of the written word. The Georgia state champion will receive $200 from the National Endowment of the Arts, while Pitra's school will receive a $500 certificate. Poetry Out Loud has involved millions of students from across the country since its inception in 2005. And now, as we get closer to the start of the 2023 Masters, Times Journal Incorporated sports editor John Bednarowski joins the show to continue to take us on a tour of Augusta National presented by Ingles.
And we're back. I'm Brian Giffen. He is John Bednarowski, the sports editor of the Marietta Daily Journal. And our coverage of Masters 2023 comes your way. We continue it today, in fact. And John recently had the opportunity to play at Augusta National. Yeah, he won the lottery, literally, and got to play at Augusta National. And John, of course, has covered the Masters for a number of years. John, I think you ended 1 through 6, you said 5 over, which really isn't bad at all. So how did it go as you started hole number 7 now?
Well, here's one thing you find out in a hurry. If you've never been to Augusta National and you've only seen it on TV, you don't have an understanding of exactly how hilly the property is. And the best way to describe it, in some areas, you really, truly need to be a mountain goat in order to get up some of the hills. And to put it nicely, I'd say I'm a little overweight. I was more overweight then than I am now. So I get to the 7th hole, and we're walking. We have a caddy. That was the first time where I may have felt a little fatigue. But so I tee off and I hit my ball into the right rough. Now the 7th hole starts off fairly flat, but it goes uphill the farther you get up toward the green. And during the tournament, The 7th hole, especially on Sunday, because we're playing the Sunday pin placements, there's about a 6 or an 8 foot bowl in the bottom right-hand portion of the green. And if you can take the ball and, there's a bunker that guards the front, or 2 bunkers that guards the front, one on the left, one on the right. The pin would be tucked right behind the right-hand bunker on Sunday. If you can get the ball over the bunker and take it a little bit left of the pin, it'll catch the slope and bring it right back down to the hole. And often on Sunday, you're going to see the pros hit shots where they're within 1-2 feet of the cup. Occasionally, you get one of those that snakes in and somebody makes a 2. Well, I'm in the right-hand rough, about 4 or 5 feet off of the fairway. And I hit my second shot a little bit fat, and it goes into that front right bunker. And I have almost no chance to get this thing out. So I go a little bit sideways, and I go right of the pin with the hopes of being able to carry it, because the lip is a little farther out. I mean, I'm standing, it's a wall of sand in front of me where my ball is. And I managed to get it out, and I get it up about 10 or 12 feet above the hole, putting for par. And again, this thing is coming straight downhill, so I barely tap it at all. And for a second there, I'm going, it's not, somehow, some way, it's not going to get there. And then the next thing you know, it's 4 feet past.
Wow.
And I made the comebacker for 5. But it's like when you haven't played for a while, and the hole for us was playing about 330 yards. So if I hit a good shot to start with, it's one of the few holes where I really feel like I would have had an opportunity to potentially make a birdie, and, I let that one slip away. But again, I hadn't been playing very much. I was amazed that I was hitting the ball in the club face to begin with.
Right.
So, walking away on any hole with a bogey is not bad at Augusta National.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, so now you're 7 holes into this, and we move to the 8th. I'm trying to do my best Pat Summerall here. now we go to the 8th. And that's not the 8th inning, I might add.
Not in this case, anyway. But the 8th hole is a par 5, and it's amazing. You're either going drastically downhill, or it seems like every hole is uphill. There's nothing that is flat at Augusta National. So we leave the 7th green and we walk back to the 8th tee. Now, for the pros, they're playing it at about 570, 580, 590 up the hill. For us, we were playing it at about 480 yards. And still, for me, to hit a decent drive, I'm in the same spot as the pros would be, because they're carrying it 100 yards farther than I am. And I pulled my tee shot left, but I was still even with the fairway bunker that everybody knows from watching TV. I'm in the left rough. I hit my second shot. It catches a tree branch and comes down. I advanced at 150, 160 yards, but it catches a tree branch, comes back down in the rough. And for those golf fans that are familiar with the 8th hole at Augusta National, if you're looking from the back of the green onto the green, on the right-hand side, there are these giant mounds, and you'd think they would be if it was any other golf course, they would be virtually the perfect spectator mounds. But there's no spectators in that area. I have to somehow get the ball over that, and then it's straight downhill to the pin, which is kind of on the back third. But if you hit that slope the wrong way, it's not only going to land on the downslope, but it's going to kick all the way across, and then you're going to be chipping back up the hill. I didn't hit the greatest chip, but it did bounce on the mound and kind of kick to the right, so I got it down onto the green and managed to 2-putt for a 6. So, again, bogeys at Augusta National.
Right.
Good thing. But for a long time at Augusta National, there was no rough. Bobby Jones, when he built the golf course, wanted to make, putting be the overall difference to determine the winner. And a lot of the golf course is built somewhat in the image of St. Andrews. Granted, it's not a links course, but it's got there's a lot of inspiration there. And at St. Andrews, in most areas, there's or not little rough, but you have to hit it a mile one way or another to get into the deep stuff. Well, it's for me, it's about an inch deep, and that gave you get into that rough playing to some of these greens, and you can't spin it. And not that I'm going to have a whole lot of backspin on it anyway, considering the state of my game, but you have very little chance of getting anything to check up around the hole. So, the key is keep it out of the rough at all, at all times. And the longer that my round went, the more rough that I found.
All right, so now we're 8 holes in and on to the 9th.
On to the 9th, hit my drive down into the middle of the fairway, but I didn't hit it far enough. And for those who know, it's a downhill, and it's somewhat of a severe downhill. And somehow my ball, my stance is severe downhill to where it's taking two clubs worth of loft off of it. And I managed to hit it up by the bunker on the left. Now, if you land it short and in front, it's going to come probably 70 yards down the fairway because there's such an incline leading up to the green. I hit it far enough left where I was below the bunker, and it stayed there. So now I had to pitch up over the bunker, and the pin is on the left-hand side. So I don't have a whole lot of green to work with, and it's going left to right away from me. And if I don't hit it well enough, I'm either going to land it in the bunker, or I'm going to catch the false front, and it's going to take it and bring it back down 70 yards back down into the fairway. So hit a little sand wedge, popped it up over the bunker, got it on the green about 20 feet from the hole. And again, you look at the putt, and I see it at about 5 feet outside the right. I'm thinking I'm pretty much coming straight up the slope. And my caddy, David, I had said I wanted to read the greens, and then I'm going to listen to you, and you tell me where I'm supposed to putt. And for the whole round, I think I would have read about 4 putts correctly. But he told me, no, you need to hit it. And he starts walking much farther to the right. I needed to give this thing about 15-foot break. And he says, put it over this spot. And I got relatively close, and the ball hits that spot and takes this big turn to the left, and it curls all the way around and stops about 2 feet behind the hole. And I got out of there with another 5.
Your smile is your best feature, so why trust anyone but the best with it? Atlanta native Dr. Brock Pumphrey and the team at Atlanta Center for Advanced Periodontics are ready to help you get the most out of your smile. With 2 locations that offer state-of-the-art technology and a friendly, welcoming atmosphere, Atlanta Center for Advanced Periodontics is your place for oral care. Find them online at advancedperioatl.com or give them a call at 404-876-4867 for the Midtown location and 770-442-1010 for the Roswell location. No referral necessary. Thanks again for listening to today's Northside Neighbor Podcast. Did you know that over 50% of Americans listen to podcasts weekly? Make sure you join us for our next episode and be sure to share this podcast on social media with your friends and family. You can also add us to your Alexa Flash Briefing or your Google Home Briefing, and be sure to like, follow, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
This podcast is a production of BG Ad Group. Darren Sutherland, executive producer. Jacob Sutherland, director. Producers Jason Gentarola and Matt Golden. And Jinrei Zhang, video producer. All rights reserved.